I've always liked motorcycles that know their lane and doesn't try to be something that it's not. And the Heritage Softail Classic fits right into that category. It's a cruiser through and through, and it's not trying to win awards for the sharpest looking motorcycle. Although some might argue that point, but it's purely designed to give you the utmost comfort and riding capability within the Softail lineup. So today I'm going to demo a Heritage Softail for the very first time and to see what this Harley has to offer.
What's up guys, thanks for tuning into the video. Today I am on an Heritage Classic. So we're gonna do this review in the typical fashion. We'll cover a few different points, but this isn't going to be a technical review. I will try to put up some statistics when I can on the screen, so just follow along. But yeah, first impression, you know, it's always the ergonomics for me. Ergonomics on some of these bigger Softails have been fantastic. This seat is extremely plush. Probably the most plush stock seat that I've been on so far. You got these forward-ish controls on the Heritage and these taller bars. They look like mini apes, but they're a little bit wider. So the stance is really nice. The posture feels really good for me, really natural. So far so good. Everything feels really natural for me. All the joints are at a natural bend. They're very natural angles. This Heritage Classic comes with the 114 engine, which is probably more than enough to get this bike moving. A few things that make this a little bit different is it comes stock with this removable windshield, which is really nice, and it has leather saddlebags. So not quite a bagger, but I would say in the style of a baby bagger. So what I love about this Heritage Classic is that just it's ready to go right from the rip. There's really not a whole lot of modifications that you need to make because everything is just right there. You got the bags, you got the really comfortable bars, at least for me, coming in at 5'8". You got the windshield, you got floorboards, and there's not really a whole lot that you need to do outside of maybe a stage 1, something like that, to make this bike ready to rock. Feels really good. It's, you know, reminiscent of like the Fat Boy, the Breakout with this large 5-gallon tank, this big dash here. It's very readable, very clear. So a lot of things to like about this bike. Comes standard with these cruise control now. So right from the get-go, you know, set up to cruise, set up to for distance. So in terms of aesthetics, you know, I would say this is probably my least favorite looking bike, and it's probably why it took me so long to even come around to test riding it, because in terms of style and looks, it's really not my thing. You know, it looks a little bit more old school for my tastes, at least in my opinion, where it lacks in terms of looks department. The ergonomics really more than make up for all of that. This windshield, you know, it's blocking off a ton of wind for me, no buffeting whatsoever. So for me, the main draw for this bike would be that it's very comfortable, and right from the get-go, you can tour with it. Now, if I was renting a bike and I needed to do some light touring and this was available, I'd be ecstatic. But yeah, we'll wait a little bit to see how she handles in the twisties.
When you look at the Heritage Softail, it looks like a Harley that's been frozen in time. With this large windshield, chrome finishes, and the boxy leather saddlebags, it looks like a Harley from their earlier days. It doesn't quite fit in with some of the other Harley Softails that have been modernized and received makeovers. And maybe that's the point. There's a saying that if something isn't broken, then don't fix it. And the Heritage Classic really does deliver on providing a comfortable ride, and everything else is just an afterthought.
Very nice, very nice. Pretty nimble for such a big, bulky looking bike. Those corners felt really smooth. The bike dips and leans really well. And then let's give it some gas. Got it. In that typical A-Mate fashion, just has a lot of grunt and torque to get you moving. Feels pretty good.
The Heritage Classic may look like it's a Harley from an earlier age, but it did get some modernizations where it counts in terms of it being a Harley Davidson. And while the Heritage Softail isn't going to blow you away with performance features, it does feature the Harley M8 114. It's the same M8 engine that comes in the Street Bob, the Fat Bob, the Fat Boy, etc. So it has plenty of power to get you off the line and ride on the highway at most speeds. And once you get the bike going, it does feel relatively nimble on the roads.
What I'm loving right now is just the seat. Man, you know when they say Harleys are like riding a leather recliner on wheels? I'd imagine this is the feeling that that people are talking about, because this seat, I really feel like I'm just on a lazy boy. Man.
Throughout the ride, I didn't notice any fatigue at all, even in a short demo. Usually during a test ride, I'll be able to spot some areas on my body where I can tell that a 2 to 3 hour ride will get uncomfortable, but on the Heritage Classic, there were no signs of that at all. The suspension delivered a really smooth ride, and the seat really did feel like I was sitting on a broken-in leather recliner.
Alright, so this bike comes in at 22 to 23 depending on color. That brings it to the Lowrider ST territory. And obviously for me, I would go for the ST. I have the S, but this is just a really good option for kind of a budget touring bike, right? It's got a big enough fairing, got saddlebags. Yeah, it's not the fanciest stuff, but like, you know, it gets a job done. And the handling feels really nice and smooth. I'm quite surprised by the level of comfort on this bike. I could ride this bike for hours.
So at $22,000 MSRP, it's one of the more expensive Harley Softails. For those that want a bike that's ready to tour without any modifications, I would argue that the Softail Heritage Classic is probably the most ready out of the box. The windshield, tall bars, comfortable seat, and travel bags are some of the most common modifications, and the Heritage Classic already has them on, which is really appealing for those that don't really want to go into the modification rabbit hole. So in that sense, you know that you're going to be getting a really serviceable motorcycle where you don't have to put in a ton of money in terms of comfort modifications.
One thing that just struck me is that I haven't really felt any of the bumps on the road. That's a testament to this Softail suspension setup, and in combination with this seat, wow, this is just a plush ride. There's nothing on my body that feels in tension. Everything just feels really relaxed. This is an incredibly enjoyable, kind of a leisurely ride. Yeah, this was probably my least favorite Softail in terms of just looks. It's like the Harley that never really made it into 2023, but you know, in terms of comfort, it's all there for me. I was gonna do these superlatives of each Softail, and I have to say, this guy is probably the most comfortable Softail in the Harley Softail lineup. And it's not even close. It's not even close. But thank you guys for tuning into the video, and until next time, I'll see y'all later. Peace.